A generation was characterized by the friendship between Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland, which took place behind the glittering lights of Hollywood's golden age. Their relationship lasted through the highs and lows of celebrity, from their memorable performances together to their hardships. However, Mickey kept secrets about Judy that, until now, the public could never completely comprehend. For years, what fact of Garland's life plagued Rooney? In this unique disclosure, we learn the little-known tales of her struggle against industry demands, her incredible grit, and the poignant moments of their journey together. Come along as we examine the startling information Mickey Rooney disclosed about the renowned Judy Garland, illuminating the dark side of Hollywood's most adored star. The unlikely beginnings of a Hollywood friendship. Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland's paths unexpectedly intersected in the early days of Hollywood. Despite being child stars, they had completely different paths to stardom. While Judy's ascent to fame was influenced by a string of tragic events, Mickey, well known for his wide-eyed charm and enthusiasm, was already a star by the time he was a teenager. In 1939, Mickey and Judy met on the set of Babes in Arms, which would later establish them as a legendary on-screen duo. But underneath the grins, their partnership started a complex and profound bond that went beyond their mutual celebrity. Their instant chemistry on screen. The unmistakable chemistry between Mickey and Judy made them the ideal couple for MGM musicals. They were popular with fans because of their synchronized performances in Babes on Broadway and Strike Up the Band, and their lighthearted banter and sharp humor. However, many were unaware that the on-screen chemistry mirrored their relationship, a blend of sincere love, competitiveness, and a mutual awareness of the complex realities of being a budding celebrity. Their mutual passion for performing and their tremendous pressure to meet the studio system's standards developed along with their relationship. The pressure of fame at a young age. As child stars, Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland were thrown into the limelight at a very young age and under much strain. Child performers were expected to perform beyond their years in Hollywood's heyday, frequently taking on adult-like duties and navigating the pressures of stardom. Mickey pointed out that because of the enormous expectations around their early triumphs, they had to swiftly mature in a harsh and unforgiving market. This pressure mainly affected Garland, who was forced into positions and duties that negatively impacted her emotional health. The high expectations caused them to struggle with worry, low self-esteem, and a sense of helplessness. The fact that both celebrities had to deal with these emotional difficulties brought them together, but it also had a significant impact on their personal and professional decisions. The dark side of Judy Garland's stardom. Despite her apparent brilliance, Judy Garland faced difficulties on her path to stardom. Behind the scenes, she battled extreme emotional and physical exhaustion and struggled with her self-image, among other personal issues. She had severe treatment from MGM. She was regularly put on rigid diets, given weight management medications, and pushed past her breaking point to fulfill the demands of her job. One of the few people who witnessed the toll it took on Judy was Mickey, who remained close to her during her hardships. Even though he saw the dazzling light that everyone loved fall apart, he stayed steadfastly devoted to his friend. Mickey's shocking confession about Judy's struggles. Mickey Rooney was candid about Judy Garland's suffering due to the MGM studio system. Rooney had a slightly different perspective than Garland, who frequently blamed the studio for her emotional and physical difficulties. Although he accepted that MGM's demands were severe, he thought that Garland's emotional struggles were caused by more than just the studio's abuse. Mickey implied that Garland was vulnerable to the demands of Hollywood because of her inherent weakness. Her fears were a significant factor in her challenges, even though the studio structure played a part. Mickey knew Judy well and thought she was frequently vulnerable because of her intense sensitivity and need for approval. He noted that she found it more challenging to handle the stress of working in Hollywood because of celebrity demands and her emotional vulnerability. The love of music shared by Mickey and Judy. Despite their struggles, Mickey and Judy's friendship was maintained by their mutual love of music and performing. Mickey was an incredibly talented musician who could play various instruments, making him a flexible entertainer. Judy was frequently the star of their musical numbers because of her lovely voice. Mickey once said he respected Judy's commitment to her work since she never stopped striving to be the greatest. They collaborated to produce musical moments still regarded as some of the most recognizable scenes in Hollywood history. Mickey's heartbreaking thoughts on their bond. Mickey frequently reflected on his time with Judy Garland as he grew older, and his emotions were a mixture of regret and affection. He talked about how hard it was to watch Judy's problems develop, especially since he knew he couldn't do anything to support her. Mickey admitted that he occasionally felt terrible about not shielding her from celebrity demands and the studio system's manipulation. In addition to serving as a reminder of the emotional toll that fame takes in a business that frequently eats up and spits out its stars, his agonizing observations depicted two people who were eternally altered by their time in Hollywood. The studio's role in their friendship. The influential MGM studio system undoubtedly influenced Mickey and Judy's relationship. Even though they were able to develop a close relationship, the studio frequently had complete control over their lives. For Judy, this meant that her supervisors were always watching her, dictating everything from how she looked to how she interacted with others. Mickey had to learn how to manage the strict demands of being a young celebrity and strike a balance between his personal life and the needs of fame. Despite this, Mickey and Judy had a close relationship since they recognized the difficulties of being up-and-coming celebrities. Mickey's honest portrayal of Judy's legacy. Mickey spoke up more and more about Judy Garland's legacy and her influence on him as he approached the last years of his career. In addition to praising her extraordinary talent, he brought attention to the personal costs of her notoriety. Mickey stated in interviews that Judy's narrative was a complex one of resiliency, grit, and vulnerability rather than a straightforward tragedy. He described Judy as a woman who, despite incredible difficulties, battled tirelessly for her feeling of value. One of the most moving parts of Mickey's story was his candid depiction of Judy's legacy, which he did to pay tribute to his friend. The start of their close bond. The collaboration between Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland started in the late 1930s when both of them became well known as teenagers. Thoroughbreds, Don't Cry, 1937, their debut joint venture, was the start of a long-term on-screen cooperation. They swiftly rose to prominence as one of Hollywood's most adored duos thanks to their combined gift for comedy, dancing, and singing. But their relationship went beyond the movie theater. They had a close, if complex, friendship offset. The demands of the MGM studio structure also caused tension in their sometimes supportive relationship. Due to MGM's stringent management, Garland and Rooney had limited space to pursue personal lives outside of their work. Knowing they were enduring comparable strains, they frequently looked to one another for solace. However, the realities of their demanding schedules and the strain of always performing for the audience often put this bond to the test. A shared strain of Hollywood. The unrelenting pressures of the Hollywood industry influenced both Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland's personal and professional lives from an early age. Like Garland, Rooney frequently considered how the studio system denied him a typical upbringing. Both grew up in a setting where the studios controlled their careers and shaped their personalities to conform to social norms. Mickey acknowledged that he had long-lasting emotional wounds as a result of the rigid work hours and lack of personal freedom. Both celebrities were subject to constant public scrutiny and were entangled in a vicious circle of demanding professional obligations that left little time for a typical youth. They were bonded by their shared experience of being made into stars by MGM, but it also served as a continual reminder of how Hollywood influenced their lives, frequently negatively. Mickey on Judy's mental health struggles. Mickey Rooney was open about Judy Garland's mental health issues, pointing out that the public frequently ignored her emotional distress. Although Judy was well known for her vibrant, upbeat character on screen, Rooney was conscious of the intense internal conflict she dealt with off-screen. He disclosed that Garland experienced anxiety and melancholy, which were made worse by the intense demands of celebrity and MGM's control. Mickey noted that Garland's mental health was further hampered by the fact that she frequently used drugs as a coping mechanism for the excessive stress. He admitted that although Judy was one of the most gifted actors of her day, the studio's expectations also made her susceptible and significantly impacted her. Despite her powerful public persona, Mickey, one of her few close friends, felt powerless as he watched her fight these battles alone. Rooney's regret over their lost friendship. Over time, Mickey Rooney came to mourn the decline of his friendship with Judy Garland. Even though they used to have a close friendship, it progressively soured as both celebrities dealt with the challenges of adulthood. As Garland struggled with substance misuse, mental health conditions, and unstable relationships, her troubles became more apparent. Once a constant source of support, Mickey wished he could have been there for her when she needed him most. He acknowledged that he felt powerless when the demands of Hollywood and life weakened their relationship. Even though they were no longer together, Mickey always had a particular place in his heart for Judy, and he lamented that their once close friendship had finally been lost due to the stresses they shared. Mickey Rooney's support during Garland's breakdown. Mickey Rooney was one of the only people who regularly tried to help Judy Garland when she had breakdowns. Even though their relationship was frequently turbulent, Mickey gave her support and empathy when she was at her lowest. He knew how vulnerable Garland was and how difficult it was for her to keep her mental and emotional well-being under the strain of celebrity. Mickey claims that their bond went beyond the constraints of the studio system and that they experienced moments of companionship during their most trying days on the set. Mickey thought their friendship was one of the few things that remained constant in Garland's life, even though their connection was far from ideal. He tried to encourage her wherever he could, since he was one of the few people who could relate to the emotional toll that being a Hollywood celebrity placed on her. Garland's love life through Rooney's eyes. Mickey Rooney discussed his thoughts on Judy Garland's complex romantic life, which was frequently tumultuous and unstable. He thought that one of the leading causes of Garland's difficulties was her desire for emotional stability and security in her relationships. Judy's tumultuous marriages and relationships contributed significantly to her emotional scars. Mickey witnessed several of Garland's relationships up close and was aware that her need for approval and love frequently dragged her into toxic partnerships. Although he didn't go into great detail about her love life, he knew Judy often faced emotional difficulties in her relationships. She struggled to achieve long-term happiness because of her emotional fragility, and Mickey understood her as she looked for comfort in relationships that, regrettably, only made her emotional problems worse. Rooney's thoughts on Garland's legendary acts. Mickey Rooney frequently recalled Judy Garland's performances with respect and admiration and consistently praised her extraordinary brilliance. He was especially fond of Garland's performance in The Wizard of Oz, now regarded as one of the most famous movies. Even though Judy was dealing with personal problems behind the scenes, Mickey respected her professionalism and ability to give her best. Garland was always dedicated to providing her finest performance, which impressed all around her despite the demands and difficulties she encountered. Even though Judy's personal life was in disarray, Mickey acknowledged the tremendous commitment and creativity she brought to her profession. He regarded her as a model professional, prepared to put her career ahead of her health. Rooney's thoughts on her performances demonstrated Judy's persistent talent and tenacity. The unexpected reunion. Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland had the opportunity to reconcile on TV for a television special later in life. Mickey characterized the event as bittersweet and emotional. The years and the demands of their own lives had strained their relationship, which had formerly been characterized by friendship and support for one another. However, during this reunion, Mickey and Judy experienced a genuine connection that brought back memories of their previous relationship. Their meeting demonstrated that their bonds had never really faded, even after all these years apart. Even though time and events had put their friendship to the test, Mickey admitted that they had always shared a unique, unsaid connection. The reunion brought to light the joy and the tragedy of their shared past, and Mickey felt a great sense of thankfulness for their connection. The pressure to maintain perfection. Mickey Rooney claims that the tremendous pressure to maintain perfection was one of Judy Garland's most significant obstacles during her career. The studios consistently raised the standard for her appearance, behavior, and performances, pushing her to be perfect. These unattainable expectations began to weigh heavily on Garland, who had been raised to feel that failure would follow from anything less than perfection. Garland had severe emotional distress as a result of the constant pressure to live up to the ever-increasing demands, which resulted in feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Mickey felt that she struggled emotionally and mentally because of this strain, which kept her from achieving inner peace. Her fragility was further increased by the unrelenting quest for perfection, which caught her in a vicious self-criticism cycle. Seeing Garland, a gifted artist, struggle so hard to live up to an impossible standard was devastating for Mickey. Their bond off-screen. Beyond their on-screen chemistry, Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland had a strong friendship. Their off-screen connection deepened as they shared similar life experiences and hardships, even though they had a magnetic presence together in their movies. Both were child stars who experienced the emotional and physical strains of working in the entertainment business after being thrown into the limelight at an early age. In a world created by studios, Mickey frequently talked about their shared longing for something authentic. He pointed out that despite Hollywood's artificiality, they were both looking for personal connection and honesty, which were frequently challenging to obtain. Their friendship turned into a haven where they could be authentic without the studio systems or the public's continual criticism. Mickey and Judy bonded despite their different personalities, since they both understood the hardships and stresses of life. Rooney's acknowledgement of Garland's genius. Judy Garland's extraordinary talent and versatility as an artist were widely recognized by Mickey Rooney, who constantly praised her intelligence. Mickey thought she went beyond the parts she was frequently given, even though many people only regarded her as a singer and actor in the conventional sense. In his opinion, Judy was a genuine artist who could add complexity and subtlety to any performance, regardless of genre. She put her heart and soul into her work, and Mickey respected it. He frequently said she could have reached even higher artistic heights if allowed more freedom. Her roles often constrained Garland's creativity. Still, Mickey thought she was a genius who, had she been given more freedom to express herself, could have revolutionized the entertainment business. He frequently called her one of the most gifted people ever appearing on cinema or stage. The burden of fame. Mickey Rooney was well aware of Judy Garland's lifelong struggle with the weight of celebrity. Her mental and emotional well-being suffered greatly as a result of being in the spotlight all the time. Because Judy's followers and the media frequently expected her to be flawless at all times, the demands made on her were not only professional, but also personal. Her emotional problems were made worse by this constant monitoring, which made it harder for her to find comfort. Although her reputation brought her success and admiration, Mickey felt it kept her in a vicious circle of self-doubt and fear. She turned to drugs for comfort, using them to deal with the tremendous demands of celebrity. Mickey understood how difficult it was for Judy to avoid the limelight, which made her emotional suffering much worse. He felt that although popularity was beautiful, it took away much of Judy's inner tranquility. Judy's darkest moments. Some of Judy Garland's darkest experiences, particularly when her celebrity was waning, were detailed by Mickey Rooney. Even though Judy had hordes of admirers, she frequently experienced intense loneliness since people surrounded her, but she still felt emotionally alone. Her inner conflicts appeared to be exacerbated by the lack of continuous devotion. As Judy struggled with personal issues like broken relationships and her ongoing fight with her inner demons, Mickey thought about how her emotional torment increased. Garland experienced a terrible sensation of desertion at times when she had to live without the love of her followers. Mickey, who had seen Judy's numerous highs and lows, talked of her depressing periods, which starkly contrasted the public's perception of her as a dazzling celebrity. Judy's life was inevitably filled with these dark periods, and Mickey frequently lamented that she could not find long-term serenity. Mickey's influence on Garland's career choices. Mickey Rooney had a significant impact on Judy Garland's career decisions during their early years in Hollywood, frequently attempting to discourage her from taking on projects that would worsen her mental problems. Older and more seasoned in dealing with the industry's difficulties, Mickey tried to shield Garland from positions and choices that would make her more vulnerable. He made an effort to make sure that she was making choices for herself rather than being forced into roles for her career, because he understood the tremendous pressure she was under from MGM Studios. But as their careers developed, Garland gained confidence and started voicing her professional trajectory preferences. Although Mickey had a big influence in the beginning, Judy's will to establish her identity in the field resulted in her making bold career decisions, even if it meant going up against the people who had previously mentored her. Their shared sense of humor. Despite the difficulties and demands in Hollywood, Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland's friendship endured because of their mutual sense of humor. Even though their occupations took a toll on them physically and emotionally, they always found time to laugh and have fun. They developed a coping mechanism for the demanding nature of their work through on-set banter, which helped them stay positive throughout lengthy filming sessions. They were able to keep their close relationship going by laughing at the ridiculousness of their lives in the spotlight. Mickey frequently reminisced about these times with nostalgia, admitting that comedy served as an escape from the challenging realities of their jobs. Over the years, their light-hearted banter and interactions have improved their relationship while also adding enjoyment to their films. Mickey's final reflections on Garland's impact. In his senior years, Mickey Rooney reflected on Judy Garland's significant influence on his life and the entertainment business. Mickey praised Judy's tenacity, pointing out that she kept performing and motivating crowds despite her struggles. Despite the tremendous challenges Garland encountered, from her mental health issues to the demands of being a celebrity in a frequently cruel field, her talent and enthusiasm remained unwavering. Mickey recognized that Garland's legacy endures in Hollywood and among her followers, and that her impact went beyond her turbulent life. Rooney conveyed his profound respect for Garland's resilience, recognizing in her a will to never allow her setbacks to define who she is. Mickey's thoughts demonstrated that Garland's influence would endure for many generations, personally and professionally, even after her death.